choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
This is Apollo Saturn Launch Control. We're just passing the 1 hour mark in our countdown. Now in the final hour of the countdown toward the launch of Apollo 13. The closeout crew has now left the White Room area and will be standing by for the retraction to the 12-degree position of swing arm number 9. We've received word from the distinguished guest site that the stands over there are near capacity with some 4,500 guests in the area. The Vice President of the United States, Spiro Agnew, and Chancellor Willy Brandt, his special guests, have arrived in the area, although they are not at the stands yet. Out on the causeway at a guest site, we have 7,000. This is the largest guest number that we have ever had on our causeway site. To recap our countdown, which has proceeded very well today, we resumed the count after a 9 hour and 13 minute built-in hold at 4:13 a.m. this morning. At that time, the cryogenic loading began. This is loading aboard the extremely cold liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen. Liquid hydrogen is the fuel for the second and third stage. Liquid oxygen, the oxidizer used on all 3 stages. RP1, or rocket propellant number 1, is the fuel used in the first stage. It is a kerosene-type fuel and was loaded before the countdown demonstration test back in mid-March. The cryogenic loading went well. There's over 800,000 gallons of cryogenics loaded aboard the Saturn V vehicle at this time. We entered a 1 hour built-in hold. This is a planned hold at the T-minus 3 hour and 30 minute mark. The crew was alerted this morning shortly before 9 a.m. by Colonel Tom Stafford, Chief of the Astronaut Office. They then proceeded for a short or brief medical examination by Dr. John Teagan and Dr. Alan Harder. They were pronounced in good shape and ready for their flight. They then had the traditional breakfast of steak and eggs, tenderloin steak, eggs, orange juice, coffee, jelly, and toast. After a brief mission briefing, they donned their spacesuits and took the 8-mile trip in the transfer van to the pad area. They have now been in the spacecraft going through a variety of tests and checks, going over all their switch lists and so on. Our weather at this time is better than had been predicted earlier. We're still looking for some clouds to move into the area, and we'll be expecting a temperature of approximately 80 degrees at our launch time. We continue counting down toward a launch time of 2:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now at T-minus 57 minutes, 15 seconds and counting, this is Kennedy Launch Control.
Verifying all 4 AC rolls are off.
Yes, here's where we start getting quiet because it begins to become an experience. AC or A1 is off. C1, A2, C2, AC roll off.
Main A. D1
Yep.
main B. 2 main A. D2 main B. A3 main B. D3 main A. A4 main A. C4 main B. B3 main A. D3 main B. B4 main B. D4 is main A.
Okay, we got our auto RCS config set up. As I was saying, I think I accidentally hit the push to talk button again. But the computer in Reentry is still the biggest downfall of the sim. I really like what they have going, but the computer, it makes me want to rip my hair out. There's just something so unintuitive about the way that Reentry implements the computer. And I do understand that it's like the best Reentry can do, because it can't use the real software. If it used the real software, Reentry would have to be free. And that's just not happening. I'm sorry. This is a professional game, right? But NASP does use the real software, and so in terms of learning how to use the computer, NASP tends to be better for beginners. Reentry tends to be better for beginners in terms of learning basic orbital mechanics and how to fly. The computer in NASP runs the real software, so user interface experience was highly, highly valued. You know, all of this already got researched in the 60s and implemented the best that they could. So there is also the addition that while the computer is easier to learn in NASP, it's also a huge rabbit hole to go down. Like, we're talking W matrix, state vectors, refs mats, we're talking flag soup, you know, erasable memory, all of this sort of stuff that Reentry doesn't have you deal with, or at least it's all automatic and in the background that you would be interfacing with on NASP. So it's a rabbit hole to go down. But definitely worth it, honestly. There is a hell of a lot you can learn from both of these experiences. We're about to get our next transmission here, so I'll go quiet.
Yep, how's the weather? That's right, you don't have any windows, do you? I got one little hole up there and it looks good here.
Okay, task now is to check battery C.
Bat Charlie reading 36 volts.
Bat Charlie is 36 volts, good. And then we'll go back to main able.
Alright, jump back to main A. Roll with 162. Pitch is 090. 0 in the off.
Good. And then real quick, I'm just gonna... There's one hotkey that's been bothering me. It's not audio output capture. I want... Here, yes. Space. There. That's fine. Alright, FTI scale.
FTI scale is 5.5. Rate switch is high. Hands controller power is on and up. Direct main A, main B. CMC mode is free. B-mags, roll, pitch, and yaw are rate 1. CHF going off. Houston, this is the CDR. I'm reading you loud and clear. I read you loud and clear, Joe. VHF AM going to TR.
This is Reentry and Orbital Simulator. Sorry, it changed its name. Reentry, a Spaceflight Simulator. This is sort of the... this isn't NASP, what I normally fly. NASP is sort of the advanced version of this, minus my gripes with the computer that I've already talked about earlier. But Reentry is basically the beginner stuff, and they just came out with Apollo 13, so that's what I'm going through right now.
Auto verified on up. Engines out, verified auto. Launch vehicle rates, verified auto.
Yep, it is still in early access, but it's being updated
RCS command.
all the time. It even has mission control support in Mercury and Apollo spacecrafts. Gemini will be the first spacecraft to support multi-crew, which is why it doesn't have a mission control yet. Or maybe ever. We'll see.
DVZ Turbo Power 1, AC1 Mayday. 2, AC2 Main B.
Yeah, Petrie did a good job on this. Graphics are great. It's just, oh, the computer makes me want to rip my hair out.
Okay, reacts valve to latch.
I'll talk about that more when we get into orbit.
Pump is off.
When we do our auto maneuvers and stuff, things will start to... the computer's rough around its edges, of course. It's not using the real software like NASP is, so... Okay. Yeah, this is Apollo 13. It's going to take us a long time to get to the disaster, though. Definitely not going to happen tonight. Tonight's probably just going to be like a quick hour or so, just showing off the audio experience is absolutely amazing.
Launch vehicle lights are on STC.
STC is Space Vehicle Test Conductor.
This is 13, reaching you loud and clear. Thank you very much. We'll do our best.
Verb 75 and do not enter.
Okay, tape recorders forward, and I got a gray flag. Roger, primary glycol, full to bypass.
And yeah, what you guys see on the stream is probably a lot better than what I see. My monitor tops out at 720p tops, so everything looks really aliased for me, but I notice on my streams it looks really crisp, so it's good. Hello.
Okay, best sides are on.
Unless I have the resolution turned down to 720p manually, I think I might, because I was doing Half-Life Alyx at one point. At least for the stream encoder I was streaming it to some people privately, since they don't have VR. They couldn't play Half-Life Alyx, so I may have manually turned it down to 720p just to get a few more GPU frames, so I'm actually going to check that right now to see if I can't bump that up. But output, I want... Okay, we're 6,000 kilobits, and encoder has good quality, so I think it's alright. NASP, NASA Apollo Spacecraft Simulation Project, NASSP. I'll put that in the chat. NASSP. This has the real flight software also. Sorry, I notice I'm peaking my mic. There we go, I'll turn it down. That's the real flight software for you. Yeah, GDC align, let's do that.
GDC align.
T-minus 20 seconds.
We...
17,
we got the audio unsynchronized.
14, 13,
Because I was paying attention to chat. That's fine.
10, 9,
Y'all program.
ignition sequence has started. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Where's our
1, 0.
Y'all complete roll program. Houston, roger, roll.
Yeah, the GDC logic is broken. There we go. Okay, now the audio should be resynchronized. Sorry, I was paying attention to the chat and not the countdown. Probably should have been paying attention, but we got resynced, so we're good. Okay. Mark 1 Bravo. Yep, RCS command. We are abort mode 1 Bravo. We can see outside. However, during the Ascent, it's not spectacular, so it's not usually something I show off unless it's NASP, because it doesn't look great at all outside, at least on Ascent. Yeah, so the inside of the spacecrafts in this look really good, but the outsides do not, whereas in NASP it's quite the opposite. The insides, well, they look like it was made in 2016 because Orbiter's rendering is from 2016, but the outside in NASP is so good. Like, the moon looks legit, and in Reentry it doesn't have that. It's all pixely, but yeah, the moon in NASP looks legit, and Madison can attest to this because they've seen our lunar orbit insertion. Yeah, NASP is not KSP, though.
13 Houston, standby for mode 1.
Absolutely not. I don't know why everyone thinks about that. 1 Charlie. Was there that verb 82, noun 62 bullshit I'm supposed to do? Yeah. Verb 82, noun 62. This is not a procedure done in Apollo 13. It was only done in Apollo 7, so I don't know why it's in here. But we've got the inboard.
We confirm inboard out 13. You're looking good.
Yeah, the inside looks old, but the outside, it looks so good. And to be honest, if someone said that the inside of NASP, like the inside looked like KSP, I would be mad. But if someone said the outside looked like KSP, I'm fine with that, because KSP is the same thing. Internal view looks old as shit, but external view is,
13 Houston,
it's so good.
Thrust is good. Roger.
Oop. 2. Skirt sep. Tower jet. Also, these switches are supposed to be spring-loaded back to the middle position. It's just a little discrepancy I noticed.
We confirm skirt step, roger, tower jet, mode 2, Jim, looking good. Mode 2.
Mode 2, good. Yeah, they're supposed to be half spring-loaded, so they can stay down, but when you click it up, it should spring-load back to the middle. Same with the digital event timer.
This is good, and the CMC is go.
Atmosphere needs to be on point because you need it for doing your P-23 cislunar navigation. You need to have the substellar point visible to you, so the atmosphere needs to be very well rendered. And let's get our boiler on. There we go. Or here, it's called the evaporator in the command module, the boiler in the lunar module.
Houston, you're go at 4 minutes, so little red lines are right on the little white lines down here. Sounds good.
Yes, Reentry comes with a tutorial. It's not as in-depth as I would like it to be, so I actually do have a ton of tutorials for NASP, and a lot of these procedures do carry over, just minus the computer stuff, so anything you see with the computer you can ignore, but the actual, like, here's how to perform a burn, here's how to do this and that, those procedures on the computer are the same, and same with the switches, so you can look at those tutorials, but I may just be making separate tutorials for Reentry because there are a few hiccups and minor things that you need to know about while playing Reentry in order to play properly.
Shipboard.
But you are more than capable of doing Apollo 13 without ever having done the campaign, or not the campaign, the tutorials.
COI capability.
Okay, S4B to contingency orbit, and we've got it.
S4B to COI. Your go at 6 minutes 13.
And we'll check our gimbal position indicator, and that looks good. So we'll go back to tanking pressure. Yeah, there's one thing that you will need help with, and that's it. So.
Houston, we don't have a story on why the inboard out was early, but the other engines are go, and you're go. Roger.
Yeah, and if you would like, maybe after a few missions, when I'm sort of wrapping down, if you would like, I can show you the beginner spacecraft.
Roger.
If someone's ever new, I always do this for them, where at the end I sort of show them where I started and where it all started for me. Mercury, I started learning space sims over a decade ago.
Plus 38 nominal. S2 cutoff time 9er plus 48. Over.
Like over a decade ago, and I was flying the Mercury spacecraft in Reentry, so.
That's affirmative, and stand by for S4B to orbit. Mark, you have S4B to orbit, Jim. Roger, we have
I do not have a Discord for this channel. I sort of refuse to get one just because moderating Discords is too much of a pain in the ass for me. It's not worth it. There's always some scandal going on, always some drama, always like some person doing crime in your server, so I'm just no. So I'm avoiding it. Best not to even get involved. I don't have any social platforms for this channel. But you are more than able to comment on a community post, anything you want to talk about, pretty much. I will always respond.
13 Houston, looking good at 8 minutes. 13.
I heart every single comment as well, so that I know that I've responded. So if you ever see a notification that you got a heart, it's because I've looked at it and I'm in the process of responding. This is how I keep track of everything. But yeah, I may end up maybe making like a Facebook group or something. I just don't want to do Discord because it's not moderated enough on server side, so there's
13, Houston, Mark,
an unacceptable amount of crime that happens. But yeah, I respond to everything, so just feel free to, comment, and when we're wrapping down, I'll show you where I started over a decade ago.
13, Roger.
There's only like 50 some switches in that cockpit, and 24 of them are circuit breakers, so they don't really do anything except power systems on. And so yeah, it's where I started about a decade ago. You couldn't even translate. Like, you just got up there, did a few orbits, and came down. You couldn't do anything. But it's still, to this day, it's still my favorite spacecraft. There's just something so rustic about it. How many missions are we doing today? It depends. I never have a plan. And
13 Houston, stand by for mode 4 capability.
so, alright, mode 4. I'm thinking... Well, I don't want to be disrespectful of my roommate's time, so I'm thinking maybe we do like an hour of Apollo and maybe one mission in Mercury. Yeah, one ticket per second. That about sums it up. Yep, no, it gets ridiculous.
You're looking good. Trajectory guidance and CMC are all go.
Like, I personally have a Discord, but I refuse to make one for my channel. I don't want something to happen, some scandal to happen, and my channel to end up on the next Charlie video. So I'm avoiding it. Nope, fuck that. Like, I don't want to be the person to be like, you seem like a trustworthy mod, and then they're not. So, I detest social media, to be honest. I hate it.
13 Houston at 11 minutes. Your go.
This Ascent is actually slower than normal. Cutoff is 12 plus 3, 4. Normally, cutoff in Apollo is 11 plus 2, 1 to 11 plus 4, 2.
Apollo 13 Houston, your go at 11 and a half, and predicted cutoff time is 12 plus 3, 4, over. Understand, 12 plus 3, 4, predicted cutoff time. That's affirmed.
Yeah, this Delta V counter, I think is for the SPS to orbit capability mode 4 if you would need to abort, but I don't know, it's like some arbitrary number that they set up, and it has it's I guess I don't know what it is, why it's 6999.9. It's got something to do with the abort modes though. Yeah, this game does have time dilation. You can time skip in this game, and we will be doing that. But any powered phase of flight needs to be done in real time. Also, this really bothers me why this happens. This is... the ICDU is broken. It's not supposed to do that on insertion. Ooh, that does really bother me, I'm not gonna lie. All the computer stuff bothers me, but the rest of it is fine. I'm fine with the rest of it. Gemini's great, too. Yeah, Gemini's good, so... the simulation of the Gemini manual data insertion unit is about as good as it could be, so...
and the booster is safe, over.
We don't have any of the programs saved for Gemini, to my knowledge, so... Key release, I forgot what that button I assigned to the keyboard was, so I'm just going to hit it manually.
13 Houston, we copy your noun 44.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Joe. And the landing, yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to be. It's actually 4 days to get to the moon and 3 to get back due to gravitation. But yeah, that's first mission complete, and well, everyone already knows about Apollo 13, so we're going to avoid it. Oh, if you're wondering, Reentry does have a Discord that I'm in, so if you would like to go there as well, Reentry has one, discord.gg/reentrygame. So here we're loading, and this is a charcoal drawing of the Gemini or Gemini, depending on if you're northern or southern U.S. Spacecraft docked to the Agena target vehicle. For those who are not in the know, the Gemini spacecraft used to, or it was going to be the spacecraft to perform a first circumlunar navigation around the moon, so the first flyby. But it never ended up happening. They went with Apollo, developed that, and just skipped a circumlunar Gemini flight, but it would have been on the Gemini Centaur configuration. So they would have launched in the Gemini and then using the Centaur would have gone to the moon. There are people who do NASP in real time. Turi Boeing is one of them. This is Apollo 13. Apollo 2 never happened. I can simulate what Apollo 2 would have looked like, though. But not in Reentry. I can do it in NASP. Lighting always resets. Same with the seats. I like the top lights to be low and the bottom lights to be high. It gives a nice sort of underlight that's not shining directly in your face and making the panel whitewashed. So very shortly we'll be getting our transmissions here.
Apollo 13 Houston, your preliminary orbit down here is 102.5 times 100.3 and everything is looking good.
Roger, Houston, and it looks good to be up here again.
I'll bet.
Okay, post-orbital insertion. So checklist, timeline, post-orbital insertion. We're looking for checklist items 1 through 4.
Apollo 13 Houston, I have your Z torquing angle. You ready?
Jax, briefly copied you.
Okay, it's plus decimal 26, over.
Okay, June plus 0.26.
That's roger.
Yep, fuel cell react valves. There we go. So next up, we're going to need to do SMRCS check. So checklist, timeline, SMRCS check. So checklist item 5. Yeah, Turi's about to do Apollo 13, and that I can't wait to see. Like, I'm getting giddy just thinking about that. NASP and Apollo 13, like an actually good simulation of the computer and the disaster it's just gonna be great. Helium isn't simulated yet, I see. Otherwise, our quantities are looking good. Should we give him a sneak peek of the LEM? I know it's technically cheating, but should we do it? Let's do it. What the hell? Oh, you can't. No. They prevented vessel switching unless you're docked. Ooh, that's rough. Damn. Rest in peace, I guess. You'll have to wait.
Apollo 13 Houston.
Go ahead, Houston.
Okay, a couple minutes to LOS, Jim. Everything is looking real good. Your AOS time at Carnarvon will be 52:36. And we don't have too much of a handle on why the inboard cut off early, except that it apparently was an engine problem and not a switch select function. But we're certain that you'll be able to make TLI based on what we're looking at now.
Roger, nothing like an interesting launch.
That's right.
LM is lunar module. The thing that landed on the moon. This doesn't even land. This is just the orbiter. This just doesn't even land.
Apollo 13 Houston, Canary LOS in 30 seconds. Request command reset, please.
Roger, command reset.
Command reset, come on.
Thank you.
You should see the docking with the lemon NASP. It looks crazy. In Reentry, it's sort of how you would think they did it in real life, but it's not even close to how they did it in real life. How they did it in real life is wild. It is not how I would have done it, to be honest, but they had their reasons. All right, checklist item 6, command module RCS check. You do have to run every checklist. I could read and then just do it, but you do have to actually run every checklist. I do have a video showing docking of the lunar module in NASP. And we are going to be doing it shortly in here. Maybe not today, but definitely shortly. Caution warning, operational check. So there is something wrong with their implementation of the caution and warning system. There are some lights which do not make the alarm go off. So any yellow light that is not relating to the command module doesn't make the alarm go off. So if we, for instance, had O2 flow high, this would not make the alarm go off, and it's supposed to. So that does complete that. So we're up to item 8 now. Yeah, that's a bug in the game. So we are looking at, oh, we're skipping item 8 and actually performing item 13. Okay. Item 13, Apollo 13. Get a command reset and we'll go simplex. They're talking about how stiff the switches are right now. In the simulator, they're super loose because a lot of people use the sim, but here the switches are very, very stiff because they're brand new. Insertion is changing the orbit to intercept the moon. That is correct. Insertion, no, that's Trans-Lunar Injection. Insertion is the checklist we need to do after we insert into a nominal Earth orbit. Real quick, can we see out the... Oh, not really. 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Here, let's take a look where we are relative to the next ground station. Where are we? We are approaching CRO right now on Rev 1. Polaris, Dawn, and Starship Flight 5. I've been waiting for Starship Flight 5 for a long time. I can't wait for it. It's gonna be great. At first I looked at the Starship and I was like, bro, clustered engine configuration, like this is never going to work. But naturally, SpaceX has a way of proving everyone wrong. Now, is it going to carry people? I doubt it. I think it's more going to be towards cargo because it honestly, carrying people, that thing takes 15 refuels to even get to the moon. Probably going to take twice as much or 3 times as much to get to Mars. These people are going to be in orbit for a while, so people, maybe not, but definitely will see a very, very good application as a cargo ship, sort of like a space shuttle. What are we looking for? Main regulator checkout. So, item 10. Good. Good. Hello. Welcome to Aperture Science Computer-Aided Enrichment. No. Exactly, right? Even if they could pull off a Starship flight once a day, that's 27 days of fuck all to do. Like, you're not on the ISS, there's no scientific experiments, and the room on Starship is highly, highly limited. You know, if I love looking at the evolution of Elon Musk talking about Starship, because at first he's like, yeah, there's going to be so much space, it's going to be like a hotel, they'll be able to play games up there, watch movies, and then it's like 2 or 3 talks later, like when Starship explodes for the first time, he's like, oh, it's going to be very cramped, basically like prison. And I always thought that this is a very, very classic thing with Elon Musk, is the over-promising, under-delivering. So I don't like him, but I do like SpaceX and what they're doing, so. Yeah, at least there's a couple floors. Space Shuttle had 2 floors. It was pretty roomy. But not for 7 people. 5 is roomy, but 7 is a little much on the shuttle, to be honest. It's a little cramped for 7 people. Glycol checks just doesn't seem to work, yeah. I did notice that. The main reg checks work. Here, I'll show you. We don't need to switch over. I could just show you that the push to test function does indeed work. We can see, bam. It's not supposed to go that high. It's only supposed to go up 0.2 or 0.3 and then drop out. The only time it goes that high is if you hold the button. Okay, Jim, let's start item 12, the ECS config. Yes, item 12, ECS config, sure. Oh, apparently we're just not going to run the checklist for that. Okay, that's fine. Certainly. Bypass open, out valve close, in valve close. Now we'll do secondary radiator leak check. This I want to see if it works, because I don't think it worked for me anyways. So we're monitoring secondary accumulator. We'll go normal on that now. And let's see here. So, no, this might be fine. If nominal, unless we're running the pump, this should not drop the accumulator quantity. So I think that's okay. There are probably going to be variations of Starship, yeah. Starship is already on V2. It's going to be fun part is when I start NASP and things actually work, yes. And the computer is a rabbit hole. If you've taken a look at my newest community post, you can see just exactly how much of a rabbit hole the computer actually is. So those steps are a special verb for course align, a special verb for releasing the course line and zeroing the ICDU. Then you need to set the drift coefficient flags, and then you need to set the ref SMAP flag, and then you can do your P52. It's definitely a rabbit hole to go down. That's for sure. This is backwards though. You can see if we flip it to H2, it goes up pretty much the same amount that O2 would go up, except O2 would stay in this green. But when we flip it to O2, O2 goes all the way up to full scale high. So this is the exact opposite of how it behaved in real life. So that's just something to note. Where did I download NASP? NASP is available for download in the Orbiter forums. There's a place for it. I do have an installation tutorial. It was way back when I started. So like this is like way back before the 100 sub mark. So my videos weren't that good. So apologies if it's not that easy to follow, but it will have linked the actual installation instructions from the official websites. And you can download it from there. Yeah, I like P52 as well. I hate P23, which is not simulated in Reentry. Thank God. But I hate P23. It's... It hurts my eyes because of slowing mode. And then just finding the tangent and the substellar point, the positioning of the stars, and it's a pain. Yeah, that one is it's a pain. P23, but absolutely necessary. If you lose comms, you're gonna want the P23 matrix built up nice and good, because if you don't have anything to weigh your state vector against, and you lose comms, your P37 return to Earth program is not going to be good. You'll never get home. So P23 is necessary just in case you lose comms, and you can still get home. He plans on putting in the... Oh, no. Oh, the implementation of P52 isn't even done correctly. Oh, God. I hope. I hope he fixes P52 before he does P23. I hope. Fingers crossed, because CMC tracking, auto acquiring of the stars doesn't work. The flow of the computer is incorrect. And I'll talk about all that stuff in a bit. Were we supposed to do some... Oh, yeah, P52. Verb 37, enter, 52, enter. There we go. Optics, dust cover, jettison. This is not simulated. Some asshole thinks they're fast by removing the muffler on their car. Optics, dust cover, jettison, item 24. So, optics power on. And then, yep, manual, speed high, and optics dust covers are not simulated. I think we have to do this P52 ourselves. We'll see. Yes, so we can do that. Let's talk about everything wrong with P52. So, let's turn the numerical lighting up. So, first of all, everything in the computer has a parity bit in reentry. In real life, this is not true. In real life, you would just enter 4 zeros and a 3, or you could even hit 3 and enter. But in here, you need to add parity for whatever reason. Next thing that's wrong is, let's go CMC. 0 switches off. Let's go proceed on that. You can see, ooh, even though we very clearly have stars visible, it doesn't think there are stars visible. Very clearly there are. So that's another thing that drives me nuts. It did eventually acquire star 15. So 0170, please mark star 15. Okay. We hit the pro on that. It flashes verb 51. Star 15 is not supposed to be here still. But let's acquire star 15, which is Sirius. And let's make our mark. We can see we're on CMC, but there was no auto star acquisition. And we're able to control the sextant when we are in CMC and not in manual. And this is wrong. You're not supposed to be able to control it in CMC mode. So yes, confirm the mark, 502516. That's right, minus the parity. We marked star 15, so proceed. Now it wants us to mark... Oh, it wants us to confirm a mark for some reason. Here we can see the flow is wrong. It wants us to confirm the mark again for some reason. Now it wants us to mark star 12. Pro again. We can see verb 51, that's right, but this should have cleared the display. And let's find star 12, which should be, if 15 is here, star 12 should be here? No, that's 16, so it must be here. Yeah. These big blue thing is done for you being able to find navigation stars. But we could see we took our mark. It asks us to confirm. We confirm. Then it 0171, that's right. It asks confirm we mark star 12. Proceed. Our error is 0. That's good. And this should have parity. That's good. Here's our gimbal angles, and that's also good. But we could see we were, for some reason, asked to confirm a mark twice on 1 star. Parities for everything. No CMC control. And here, if we hit enter, it goes straight to program 0 instead of flashing verb 37 and allowing us to select the next program. So these are a few gripes I have with the way that these are implemented. Here we go. We can see a drop in the accumulator quantity. It is not supposed to keep dropping. Well, it is, but not this fast. This is insanely fast. There, now we're stable. It's only supposed to drop a little and stabilize. This dropped quite a bit, but the system behaves as I would expect. Just maybe the amounts are different, but the physics is there, and it does behave as I would expect. So this is good. The secondary loop is good. Let's run the EPS monitoring check. So let's see, electrical power system monitoring check. All that is good. And then here, just make sure the flows are green. Make sure that the voltmeter and ammeter make sense, and they do make sense with the exception of battery C is way overcharged. Max battery volts is actually 37 volts, and for the pyro bats it's actually supposed to be 40 volts, so they got those backwards. Other than that, everything's nice. Battery relay bus is good, and all that shenanigans. AC bus, yeah, well, suppose we could check the AC bus, but it should be stable at 112 volts, so no change in anything. Now we'll reset. This is left on reset for 1 minute normally, as you let everything sort of free spin, and then back to off. And you're supposed to take the pump off, so they forgot that. You're also supposed to enable the radiator heater, so this was forgotten as well.
Okay, Houston, how do you read 13? Houston, loud and clear. Okay, Joe, everything's going good. We're proceeding on the timeline in good fashion. I've got a P-52 done. I can give you the torquing angles. I'm ready for him, Jack.
So here we can see glycol temp low. This is supposed to cause a master alarm. And this is because Petrie forgot to add this to the checklist.
Minus 067, minus all balls, plus 0.162. Oh, well, that sounds marginally acceptable.
And he also forgot to add turning the pump off to the checklist too, but that's not that big of a deal. Just make sure it's off. You don't want it running for extended periods of time without the boiler on.
At the moment, everything's looking good. We're looking at your data now.
Because the steam pressure is really high, so. ECS monitoring checklist. Yes, that's the environmental control system. That should be up to line item 16. Yep. So suit delta pressure is good. That's shown, the delta pressure is shown in inches of water. All these look good. Yep. Now we'll do SPS monitoring checklist. That's our service propulsion system, or the massive J2 engine that is strapped to our backs. Where is she? Here it is. Let's see. Temperatures look great for insertion. That is as I would expect in real life. And the nitrogen values are slightly lower than I would expect in real life, but still good. We'd normally be sitting around 3 is my intuition here. So all that is good. So that's come a long way that we can actually do that now.
13 Houston, LOS Carnarvon in about 30 seconds. Honeysuckle on the hour, and verify your S-band is up for honeysuckle, over. That's verified. Roger.
Yeah, you can use pads. You should use them. Of course, I don't need to.
And Houston, we're beginning to see a beautiful sunrise here.
Ooh, sunrise? Well, we already passed the sunrise. By a few minutes, it looks like.
Apollo 13 Houston,
Yeah.
through honeysuckle.
Roger, Houston, 13 here, reading loud and clear.
Okay, S-band sounds good, Jim. Okay, 13 Houston, LOS Honeysuckle in about 30 seconds, and we'll see you over the States at 1 plus 28 plus 43.
Alright. So that completes orbital insertion. Next up is Trans-Lunar Insertion. Could I do the TLI one? That one had me lost. Of course, yeah. After TLI, I think we'll stop there, and then we'll show how I began learning spaceflight. In this very simulator. Well, less of a simulator, more of a game, but Rebel loves his Mercury spacecraft. He has yet to do Apollo. Well, he streamed it a couple times, but he has yet to complete any sort of mission in it. But Rebel loves his Mercury spacecraft, and I would love for him to do Apollo, but until he actually learns more how to follow the timing and the checklist procedures, I recommend he stick to Gemini for the time being. Just because timing of everything is so important in Apollo. Like, when you do things, needs to be done on and to the second at a specific time, so. But yeah, I try to help Rebel out, but he's not streaming much anymore, so I can't really help him out. But I'm sure he's practicing. He said he wanted to do Apollo, so we'll see. I hope he keeps practicing. Spam click everything to get the lighting set up. Then I like to take you down one and you down one. There we go. That's good. I like the floor lights. They don't whitewash the panel out like the upper floodlights do, so they're nice.
This is Apollo Control at 1 hour 28 minutes. We'll be reestablishing radio communications with Apollo 13 in about 40 seconds. As the station comes within range of the Guaymas, Mexico tracking station. During the launch phase, the medic reports the following heart rates. These are maximum heart rates for the 3 crewmen. Commander Jim Lovell had a maximum heart rate during the launch of 116. The command module pilot, Jack Swigert, had a maximum heart rate of 102, and the lunar module pilot, Fred Hayes, also had a maximum heart rate of 102. Capcom Joe Kerwin's just put in a call to the crew through Guaymas. Will stand by.
Yeah, it not saving. And then this too. This is always off in every scenario now. So the first thing you gotta do is turn that thing on, or you're gonna get some light that you're not supposed to historically have.
Apollo 13, Houston, over. Go ahead. Hello there, we thought you were still up there.
Yeah, we're just coming up on Baja, and I've got the TV on. Do you want it?
I don't think we require it just yet, Jack, but we'll command it when we're ready. I believe they're dumping the tape now. The booster looks good. The spacecraft looks good on the few minutes data we've had.
That sounds good. Jim finally let me look out.
How do you like it?
Changed me to the LED down there, stolen things and unstolen things, and I finally got a chance to look out and see the world.
Apollo 13 Houston, I have the TLI plus 90 and liftoff plus 8 pads whenever you're ready.
Yeah, we don't need to do this pad to record it, so we're not going to. But if you're wondering what the pads look like...
Okay. This is the TLI plus 90 pad. SPS, GNN, 63825, minus 154, plus 132, 004, 06, 4553, minus 04917, plus 00001, 66340, 180, 228, 001, HA is N/A, HP is plus 00179er, 66522, 737, 662.
Yeah, this is how we stamp things in.
26, 1554, 157. Boresight star is Zeta Sagittarii, up 080, right 21, minus 2281, minus 02500, 11407, 34087, 0133214. Set stars Arcturus, Denebola, roll 044, pitch 012, yaw 025. No ullage, over.
Ooh, that was a long one. It's about the longest pad you get in this mission, to be honest. It's really long. Now we'll get the read back.
Okay, Joe, that's 63825 minus 154 plus 132 004 06 4553.
Fred Houston, standby one.
Minus 04917 plus 00001 plus 66340.
Fred Houston, over.
Go ahead.
That's correct. We'd like you to go the S-band aux TV, switch to TV, please.
Okay, it's set to TV.
Okay, we're not getting a signal.
Okay, I'll go to transmit, Joe.
Okay, you can continue reading back.
Okay, roll 180, pitch 228, yaw 001, in/A, plus 00179er, 66522, 737, 66265. And I missed sextant shaft trunnion 157, Zeta Sagittarius up 080, roll 21, minus 2281, minus 02500, 11407, 34087, 0133214. Set stars Arcturus and Nebula.
Roll line 044, pitch 012, yaw 025, no ullage. Roger, Fred, read back correct. The sextant star is 26, and the shaft is 1554, over. Okay, sextant star 26 and 1554.
Yes, all missions in here are... All campaigns are coded in the mission editor, with the exception of the Apollo 1 Memorial. Okay, let's cruise along.
Roger, and we have a picture now. However, it's moving around quite a bit. If you could hold the camera a little steadier. Joe, there's nothing but clouds outside, and when we get some land down there coming up, I'll switch back to the window. I thought I'd just show you Jim here to make sure he's still here. Okay, real fine. We had a good picture of Jim there for a minute. I have TLI pad for you.
Okay. So this is probably what you got stuck on. In Reentry, should go to the moon view. So, Paraloon, we would need to aim for a pericynthion of 60 nautical miles. In real life, it was 80, but in Reentry, it will be 60. So your angle of TLI departure is going to be 17, and that's a given. So your delta margin should be around 0.5 to 0.6 degrees. And now for your flight time factor, you're just going to bring this down a few steps until you have a pericynthion above the surface, and then you're going to bring back the flight time factor while increasing the sphere of influence angle degree until you get somewhere around 50 to 60. Yep. So we could see we'll take actually one step back then, back to 50.9. Now we're going to add 0.0 on this step, and now we're just going to tweak this, and then we'll add another 0, and we're just going to tweak this until we get roughly 60 nautical miles altitude. And that is how you calculate your TLI. Now press execute. And here's your TLI. And why not? Let's fill out the pad. This one's not that long. So we'll open our TLI pad. We'll expand this so that we can actually draw. And so time base 6 is at 2 hours, 26 minutes. For those who don't know, when they were making the Saturn vehicle and the instrument unit, so the ginormous ring computer, they were worried that if a failure of something happened, it could sequence the events improperly. So time bases need to be triggered either manually or via the completion of the previous time base. For time base 6 program, this is done, of course, manually via an IU uplink. And this prevents the spacecraft from doing things out of order.
Okay, Joe.
The booster, that is.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where we are here.
So
that's your job,
7, roll 179, pitch is 108.
know, I've just been up out of the LED for a short time here, and I'm trying to find out which country we're over.
I have to keep telling Jack the blue stuff down there is water.
0, 0, 0.
I'll give you a hint. You're in the Western Hemisphere.
Okay, Joe, it appears like that we've crossed out into the Gulf of Mexico here. And I've got a peninsula or an island that's down there. I don't know whether you can see it.
Roger, Jack. We see that. Of course, there's a lot of cloud cover, and you see it more clearly than we do, but it does look like the Earth, not the Moon. Apollo 13, Houston, we've had LOS Mila now. Thank you very much.
Three, 5, 9, 6, 1. And SEP is going to be 139.
Apollo 13, Houston, request to and accept for a state vector, over.
Hold on, Houston. I can't do this as fast as I would be able to in real life. Give me a second. Three, 2, 0. 3, 0, 2. And then... Oh, I did this all kinds of out of order. Damn. 3, 5, 8. It's 3, 5, 8. 1, 3, 9. 1, 3, 9. And then 3, 2, 0. 3, 2, 0. And then 3, 1, 9. It's 302, then 319. Dear Lord. 302, 319. 040. 040. 10-minute abort pitch 000. How nice. And that's how you fill out pads. I don't know if you have, but have you done reentry into the atmosphere manually? Back in the days, you had to do reentry into the atmosphere manually. I'm not good at it. Let's just say that Apollo was never really designed to have the astronaut enter manually.
Roger, Houston, we're in full and accept.
Okay.
Unless absolutely necessary. So this is not something that's done normally. It really wasn't designed for that. It's way too hard to do manual entry. Even in Gemini, the entry is computer automated, just not in reentry, of course. Docking probe extend. Yeah, I'm not very good at it, although I do have a few tips. Just don't expect your landing to be right in the prime recovery zone, that's for sure. But I do have a few tips. One of the tips is don't go by the position of the needle. Go by the change of rate. Go by the derivative of the position of the needle. So go by the flux. However the needle is deflecting, if it's too fast up, you know, you need to dive down, go deeper. And if it's too fast down, you need to immediately begin a roll up. Heads up decreases your G load. Heads down increases your G load. Heads left stabilizes it, but makes you actually go to the left. And heads right does the same thing, but for the right. So just a few quick tips, like, don't worry about the position unless it gets, like, maybe down here. Worry about the, derive the position. Worry about the rate of change of that G value. You can go up to 15 Gs in Apollo before it breaks apart. So you bought all that structural integrity. You might as well use that structural integrity.
Okay, the computer is yours, Jim.
Thank you.
And you are go for TLI. Huntsville reports that you have a 6-second propellant pad, which is 3 seconds more than the 3 sigma case. So you're good on consumables. The IU is so good that we're not going to update it.
Understand, and just out of curiosity, was that engine out to mean some more S4B fuel?
The engine out did cause you to use more S4B fuel, about a 10-second longer burn, but you're still go.
Here, there's another tip I'll give you. Let's slew to the entry pattern. Here is the non-exit point, all right? So all these lines that you see, all of these lines are nominal entry paths. So as you're coming down, right, you're going to be coming in, you're going to be going pretty steep down, increasing your G load.
Houston, we're ready to support fire alarm.
And then you're going to get to the point where you come to here, and now you're going to want to transition. Here we could see deflect up, and now we can see the proper rate of change for the first bounce part of this. The reentries are performed nominally in 2 bounces. So you're going to enter in, you're going to come down really steep, heads up position maintained. Then you get the first bounce. You're going to get 0 Gs, you're going to come up, and then there's that primary control period that lasts for about 5 seconds. Then you're going to get to the top of that. You're going to go heads down. You're going to recapture, and this is about halfway into the atmosphere. You're going to recapture down and come down in for the second control period, and then there's a final control period right at the end. So this is performed in 1 bounce and then 1. So you come in, you go down to the thick part, you bounce up to halfway, and then you go back down for the rest of the way.
Okay, Houston, my circuit breakers armed are closed. Sequential logic 2 on and up then for...
So basically, if you follow these lines, you come down and then you come up. I personally wouldn't go this far down. This is 15 Gs down here. I would maybe come down to maybe here and then begin deflecting up, because it's going to keep going down and then stabilize and then come up. So I would follow maybe this entry pattern or this entry pattern, but not this one or any of these down here. They're way too difficult to follow. All right, let's cruise along.
Apollo 13, Houston.
Go ahead, Houston.
About 2.5 minutes to LOS, Jim, and your AOS at Carnarvon will be 2 plus 25 plus 50, over.
Roger, AOS at Carnarvon, 2 plus 25 plus 50.
Okay, AOS Carnarvon, 2 plus 25 plus 50. Okay, we are at 1 plus 53 plus 53. Okay, let's cruise along.
Apollo 13, Houston, LOS in about 1 minute. At LOS, we'd like command reset and then normal.
Okay, LOS at 1 plus 57 plus 03 and command reset normal. There we go. And now let's do TLI preparation. So our Trans-Lunar Inject switch to inject. Emergency detection system on. We can complete our null bias check by running delta V accelerometer for 10 seconds, and it should have less than 0.1 feet per second change. If that's true, we can come up to the 1586.8. There, I went over it. There we go, 1580 and then 6.8. And DV test. Yeah, the computer, I don't know if the computer is really great at doing the reentry. Last I checked it wasn't, but of course that was like 3 years ago now, 4 years ago. So it could be way different now. We need that TLI pad. Could be way different now. We could use the transcript. I know how to read the transcript, but you guys probably don't know how to read the transcript, so here's the pad. So delta V compensated is 10,377.7. So we will get that going. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,377.7. And delta V. Now we'll do our GDC align. So for this, we're going to use a fast method, which only works in reentry, and this is because the nominal method doesn't work right now. It's bugged out again. Now we'll set our DAP. So verb 48, enter. And we can see here, these have parity. They're not supposed to. But that's just the way it is in reentry. It's 31102 and 01111. Proceed, proceed, proceed. Verb 46 to activate that. And we will cycle cryo fans. DET minus 5-1. And verb 37, enter. Now, this program is actually not supposed to be in here until Apollo 15. This is actually supposed to be done with program 47, the thrust monitoring, and not an actual program on the computer. All right, and now we need to wait for time base 6. Do I have a spare number pad for typing on the disk key? No, I use home for verb, so I have a computer number pad. I use home for verb. All the numbers have the numbers. End for noun. Enter on the number pad is enter. Insert is plus. Delete is minus. The divisor key is clear. The multiplicator key is proceed. So we are approaching time base 6 now. So we'll get the S2 Spaceflight, and we are AOS Carnarvon now.
Okay, Joe, read you loud and clear. We're sitting here monitoring time base 6. You can see counting down. We're 20 seconds away. Okay, we're just starting to get data, and everything still looks good to us. Hey, Joe, at 2 hours and 12 minutes, the O2 flow highlight came on, and it's been pegged high ever since, so it's been on about 14. Roger 13, we're looking at it.
Here we go, S2 Spaceflight. Uplink activity light is not supposed to be on here.
Time base 6.
But yeah, we've got time base 6, and we just need to wait for this to come out.
Time base 6.
So the booster is in time base 6, but to have us have an easier time of synchronizing, we start our clock 38 seconds later.
Okay, Apollo 13 Houston, you have a go for all systems. And the O2 flow high jack is nominal with the waste tank vent open at this time, and no sweat. Okay, just wanted you all to check it for me. Okay, we did.
You have only the top row. Yes, okay, yeah. I have a numpad for the disk, yeah. You could, if you wanted to, you can order the Wi-Fi Apollo guidance computer. It's compatible with both NASP and Reentry, if that suits your fancy. It does require some self-assembly and some tampering with your Wi-Fi modem to get the port forwarding set up, but yeah, I had
listening for you to tell us how the burn goes.
A very, very tiny piece contributing to the Wi-Fi AGC, and that was I educated the programmers on how UDP packets actually work.
13 Houston through Araya, just a comm check, over.
And that was my small contribution to the Wi-Fi AGC project.
Okay, Jim, it's not the best, but we're reading you.
It's compatible with both the LEM and the CM, both Reentry and NASP. Okay, setting up for that burn now. Ullage is about to start. There we go, we got ullage. So the apps is firing now. Well, the apps isn't simulated in Reentry, but if it was, it would be firing, and it's simulated in ASP. This delta V counter would be very, very slowly ticking down as the thrusters lead the fuel to the intake the intake header of the tank. If that didn't happen, we would slosh in helium, and well, we'd be stranded. That engine would not light, and it would never light ever again. Sucking in helium into the fuel intake is the fastest way to kill an engine. Alright, so it's 59:30. T-minus 20 seconds to ignition. Yeah, the apps is not something that you control manually. It's all automatic. Everything here is entirely automatic. You don't even need to hit proceed on the disky.
See that, Jim. Good deal.
You can manually take over the apps, of course, by switching guidance from IU to CMC, and then spacecraft control to CMC auto. And you can, or no, I think it's CMC free. And then you can turn the handle and do manual apps control. I don't remember exactly the procedure to do that. I have a video up about taking over manual S4B attitude apps control. And yeah, Turi did use the Wi-Fi AGC for his Apollo 12 mission, that's right.
Okay, so far.
Houston, roger.
Okay. +2 and 30. Okay, yeah, the backspace key, try not to rely on that. BMEGs, and spacecraft control to stabilization control system is perfectly fine. It's, in fact, a substitution for backspace, basically. The real-life substitution for backspace. Yeah, try not to do that, but I'll do... Yep, picking up vibrations. I'll do TD and E later, just because it's approaching late, so... After this burn, we'll do the cleanup, and then I'll be done. I don't even have time for Mercury, unfortunately, so... This took longer than I thought it would. But we are +5 and 3. I give it maybe another 20 seconds to S4B engine cutoff.
It's off. Engine off.
Oh, it cuts off early. Okay, that's fine.
Houston, copy. Engine off.
Verb, display freeze. There we go. Yep, we've already done that, but we could do it again. Yep. Okay. Let's clean up the TLI burn stuff.
Houston, we'll have you through Hawaii in 3 minutes.
At this point, we're also supposed to do a verb 66. Yep, okay, I already did that. Allow us to do it again. I'm ahead of the scenario here. A verb 66 enter. Yeah, sorry, I would be normally reading all this text. I'm plowing through it because I'd never get to look at chat if I sat here all day reading all this text, so. Lie at yourself if you want to read it. High gain antenna circuit breakers are closed. And servo is primary. Power off. Right.
Apollo 13, Houston through Hawaii, over. 13 Houston, you're weak but clear. It'll probably get better in a second. We're standing by for the burn report.
Look at how far above the Earth we already are, and we've only been here for like 3 minutes, and we're out there.
13 Houston, the booster reports that everything looks good with the S4.
Sounds good, Houston. The ride was very nominal. We had a little vibration, though, during most of the run.
Okay, we copied your call on that, Jim.
All right. Well, after Lem Lifeboat, I haven't done anything yet. So I guess it'll be blind commentary at that point. I probably won't have much to nitpick about because I'll just be enjoying the experience at that time. I've already done all the way up to the disasters. I wanted to record the trailer, so all this nitpickiness is just me because I've already done it, right? I thoroughly enjoyed the first time doing it, so. But yeah, that ends off, and I suppose I will have to stop commentary here. I may do just a small non-commentary flight of Mercury for anyone wishing to see where every person who wants to learn space should start. So we'll do that, but no commentary. I'll turn off my mic for that. It's quiet time now, so thanks for tuning in.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, lift off and the clock has started. On your way. Yes, sir. Reading you loud and clear. I tell you. Cabin pressure is holding at 5.5. Cabin holding at 5.5. I can understand. Cabin holding at 5.5. Cut off. Tower jettison green. All right, actual now. Cap step is green.